Okay, I screwed that up without actually dropping my bombs, so, whatever. You know what? Let's play the B-17. Let's just go over a bomb A base and then fly home. Which is about the only thing that you can do. The only problem is I can't get exceptional money in a B-17 like this. I can get exceptional money in something like, or rather, exceptional RP in a ground attack vehicle that can, if I get lucky, actually has, you know, the time to actually take out all the ground targets, which is not something that the game design is intended for. In a lot of cases, you are really breaking the game. Like, the shit that I was doing in the Mosquito was hilarious. That was also back when you could strafe things. That was the other plane I was playing most of the time. The fighter bomber Mosquito. Because it was fun. And you could use 4 Hispanos to take out tanks and whatnot. So you take out tanks and ground targets. I mean, like pillboxes and stuff like that. And you also had 30 cals, so you didn't have to waste the cannon ammunition to take out the lighter stuff. So it was actually a really efficient plane to fly. And it was fun. It was also kind of chancy in terms of the maneuverability. But then they put in a 57 Mosquito, which is completely fucking worthless. Aside from maybe outside of, like, tank battles. But then again, I've never really seen if it's effective or not. But I know all the cannon planes are basically somewhat effective at taking out tanks. Fuck, the Yak. Like, the Yak with the 45mm gun HE is effective at taking out tanks if you hit them in the right areas. But they added that in, and then they absolutely obliterated the Mosquito's flight model. You can't defend yourself. You cannot, you can't even remotely maneuver with people. And once again, another situation where it's like, oh, the ground attack plane, we can fuck up the ground attack plane because nobody cares about the ground attack plane. It pisses the fighters off, and the fighter players are where we get all our money from. So it's like, yeah, we can throw him under the bus with historical documents. And that's what happens with the Mosquito, and that's why I don't play the Mosquito terribly often. It pisses me off because they basically forced me out of that plane because I was doing very good in that fucking plane. That was almost TU2 2.0. But most people were playing the Mosquito already. I was just kind of parading around, getting hilarious amounts of RP and Lions. That's what I was doing. That's why I try to find those planes, and I try to play them as much as I can. But unfortunately, when I find them, I want them to be like, man, this would be absolutely perfect if it was just a little better. The only problem is, this is my clandestine war with Gajin's balance department. When I find the planes that do that, they hone in on them, and then they nerf them. I am the one that finds broken planes, and when I'm having fun, this is why I said, and when I'm having fun, I'm playing something broken. It's just like, it's a fucking inner cynicism that I hate, but it's like, it's true most of the time. Because when I play something and I'm having fun, most of the time, it doesn't get any better. It gets nerfed. And that fucking annoys me, and once again, we're on fucking a Japanese map. So it's like, oh, hey, I wanted to actually do something concerning ground attack. I'm not going to be able to actually do that. Oh, well. And now so we see that 1,000-pound bombs are not robust enough to actually take out the ground, like take out ships. We're just going to keep the 2,000-pound bombs. Rather, hang on here. But actually, no. I thought I was playing the Invader. I'm in the B-17. This is even worse. Fuck it, whatever. We're just going to try and take out the carriers. We're gonna have to fly through all of the Japanese rice paper planes and attempt to take out their fleet. Which is, you know, a sensible objective if we could actually hit them. Or rather, not necessarily that we could hit them, if we could make it through the wall of lead. Well, I'm gonna attempt to bro-op with these B-17s here if they'll slow down and wait for me. Wait for me, senpai. Wait! I wanna form a combat box! It'll be so cool! For about 5 minutes and then we all explode. But you know what? It'll feel like the real thing. While the front one's slowing down. There we go. Wait for me! That's a very strange call sign you've got there, sir. Sherman Hunter, you're in a B-17. Does that mean you're an expert in friendly fire incidents? Okay, so we're just gonna glide up a little bit here and get a little closer to these B-17s. And yeah, I'm with that guy. I'm with the flight lead here. This map's shit for this. Why? Because we're basically flying into hell, and even if we make it through hell, we don't have anything to actually really bomb to give us any sort of reward. So it's like, wow, This is just really unfulfilling. But it seems like he's picking up. You're breaking out of the combat box! Slow down! Don't break formation, we'll all die. We're all gonna die anyway, but still. You can at least try and fuck with the enemy a little bit. And as I am sitting at 15,000 feet with my engines at full, my engines and oil have already started to overheat for reasons. Oh, there are only two carriers. We could actually take those out. But where is the Japanese Oh, there they are. Okay, so now I gotta sit here and attempt to thread a needle here. Where's our... Okay, this is gonna be a fucking thing. And also I have to do this while being attacked by fighters. So it's like, ah! Look at how much shit I have to deal with on a daily basis. You fighter players don't know shit. I'm gonna have to hope my AI gunners actually shoot at that guy as he comes by. And they barely did. Bomb bay open! Zoom in, 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 zoom in. Bombs gone! Okay, we made it to the target. Now we just have to not die. And hopefully those other guys took out the other the other carrier. Hopefully someone shot at the other carrier. Uh-oh. Tracers! Bad! Tojo, get the fuck out of here. Ah! I hurt you. I blowed off your gear leg, but you're a fighter, you don't actually land. So that damage is mostly irrelevant. Okay! I hit the aircraft carrier. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anyone else actually shot the other one. Problem. Okay! Okay! B-17's holding together! We got our kill, and we took out an aircraft carrier. That's not really gonna pay the bills, but you know what? It's something. Now here's the problem. I can't rearm! I can't do anything! That was it! This is where the level stops! I was supposed to die! But now I can't fucking do anything! Except fly back there and attempt to gunboat the enemy planes completely unrealistically. My job is done! That's as far as the design... that's as far as the gameplay design went. That's it. And because somebody fucked up and didn't take out the other carrier, we can't actually win like this. So... what the fuck? I have to keep saying this over and over again. Maybe if I keep rambling, someone will hear me, and Gajin will actually learn the error of our ways, but that's way too hopeful, because people have been complaining for years and nothing's actually been changed. But yet again, we have the situation. I have reached the end of the demo. I was supposed to get a splash screen saying, buy the fucking game later, and then the game would close. But it didn't stop going. I'm getting a little autistic here with my voice cracking, but you know what I'm saying, right? This is, you see how this is stupid and frustrating, right? This game is, what? 5 years old? Actually, it's more old than that because this is still Wings of Prey. So it's like, this game has had this much time and I'm still running into this situation. Why? Explain to me why, Gaijin. What is your excuse other than you're fucking lazy? I don't think there is one aside from that. That guy got fucked. Also, is that a Yamato class down there? It is. I think there are 2 Yamatos here. One of them might have gotten sunk. But I remember there being 2 battleships here. But then again, I might have been confusing it for a heavy cruiser. But oh well. We could have bombed the Yamato, but unfortunately, the Yamato wouldn't have actually paid our bills. But oh well, whatever. We're done. The enemy team has been completely eliminated. I destroyed my 1 target and I shot down 1 plane. That's it. It was okay. That's not even really registering for me on terms of XP. That's shit, to be honest. Like, this is coming from a person who gets almost 9 to 10,000 in the duck for a good game, and then in really crazy places got maybe 15 to 20,000 playing the TU-259S with a talisman and shit like that. That's a talisman, though. So I know that that's, more. That's going to give me more. But that's hilarious in terms of how much more you get from that. And it's not all the talisman. It's because the plane does more. But now they're just trying to whittle the grind down to this slowly wasting. They're just trying to slow the game down without actually really doing anything to actually to compensate for me. They're all just trying. It's like they just don't care about the players that are already here. They're just trying to make the situation more grindy for the newer players, so they give them their money. So that the situation, they don't have the perception that we have. And that's why, I understand why people complain about the part system. Let's just go play B17 again, I suppose. I understand why people complain about the parts upgrading system, but new players look at that and they're like, oh, so that's just how the game is. They're not going to know where we came from. And I was sort of like, okay, yeah, fine. I was accepting of this because I knew and understood why the fuck it was there. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll accept it. But in a lot of cases, they just honestly, Gajin just keeps doing shit like that without actually really giving anything to the benefit of the players that are already here. So I am left to wonder, when am I actually going to get something that actually makes me feel okay? Like, when am I going to get World War mode where it actually is effective and not just an arranged bunch of battles? I know World War mode intrigued me because I was expecting it to be like, the events they have in the simulator battles, where it's one continuous game. You go, I tested that. I was intrigued by that game mode, because what happens? You go in there with the lineup of planes, and then you slowly, you shoot ground targets, you kill enemy, you shoot ground targets in waves, and you kill enemy players, you gain up points, and then eventually, either you come back to the airfield, or you get shot down, and then you come back in a bigger plane, and you keep going. It's sort of MOBA game-esque, in a way, but a lot slower. And then, not really falling into the same bullshit that the MOBA game is. Like, we're still technically a semi-realistic flight-based game, and not, a MOBA game. We're not Dota or League of Legends. So we don't have the gameplay. We don't have that gameplay. We just have some of the concepts that are in there. And I thought that was interesting. However, that's only in simulator battles. And it's only in for regular battles as events. I liked that mode. That's the kind of mode that I want to play. I want to play that mode for, a couple of hours on end. And then have very large maps. Like, if they actually made that mode a thing and say, okay, think about this. We have England and France in slightly larger sizes than what we have right now. We have a large map. I would be okay with loading up a fucking Wellington with 4 hours of fuel to go bomb shit in France and then flying back if the rewards were there, if I was being rewarded for it promptly and able to fucking do it. I'd do it. But they're not letting us do it. They're not putting it in the game. And World War mode is like fucking Clan Wars, essentially. It's not anything like I wanted it to be. That's what I expected World War mode to be. But now as they're detailing it, it's going through its alpha phase. It's fucking Clan Wars. It's not even Clan Wars. It's, whatchamacallit? It's Strongholds from World of Tanks. And not with any of the, oh hey look, Britain. Once again, B-17 is attacking Britain. Hi, matchmaking. It's glad to see that you're still functioning even with nobody fucking playing. And also, look, another outdated map. Actually, no, there are bases on this map. What the fuck's going on? Why don't they show up on the thing, though? Why aren't they on the radar? Or rather, the map. Fucking thing. There are bases on this map. But what I was saying, I would like this, take this map and then merge it into a larger map, because we can see the coastline of France over there. And then, I didn't mean to click on that, but whatever. But they're over there. And, just have us do sorties across the English Channel. Like Dunkirk. Probably a little bit more, energetic than Dunkirk, but it's like, okay, so we fly across the, see, I'd play a game like this, honestly, if it was like, what this reminds me? Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades was that game. I liked that game, even though I could never play for a subscription. But I enjoyed that game when I played it, because it was like this. It was like what I'm imagining. You had bases on the ground that needed to be captured by ground players, very, very, very basic ground players. Honestly, tanks were kind of there, but never really amazingly incentivized, and it not made incredibly realistic, but it was okay. It was mainly a flight game. But you take the base, you have this one big map, and then you slowly, over the course of hours, days, weeks, you all sort of slowly fight across the map. You bomb the bases, you bring them into neutral, and then your ground forces come in, they capture the base, and you slowly move across the land until you own everything. It's a little bit more planet side in the way that it goes on, because, you need organization to really do much, but as an individual player, you can still get things done. I wanted that game. In this. I wanted that gameplay, but with War Thunder's ease of control. Maybe not War Thunder's balance, because that's another thing I wanted to get rid of, but that's what I wanted. Never gonna fucking get this in this game like this, though. Not at this fucking rate, not at the stupidity, Gajin is chasing Wargaming's fucking competitive scene. They want that because they want the money in it. That's the only thing they're fucking doing. Because they've realized, oh, if we have stuff like this, we'll get more money from the people who play things like this. Whereas, they could actually make something really unique and actually, start their own thing, but nah, they don't want to fucking do that. They just want to chase money like a bunch of greedy fucking assholes. So once again, at this point, this is where I'm starting to draw the line here. Because honestly, it didn't even have to be historical, to be honest. You could have a game like this, where it's like, it's sort of this. Like, think, off the top of my head, a game like Aces, like, not Ace of Spades, not Ace of Spades. I'm talking about the completely wrong game. Aces High is the game that I was trying to talk about. That's the game that I was trying to talk about. Ace of Spades is the game that I wanted to talk about right now. But also, Ace of Spades also had that kind of gameplay just on the ground. But the thing I wanted to say is, wanted to say now, was that Ace of Spades, the blocky, sort of trench warfare, Minecraft-y shooter, that's complete fantasy. That's bullshitted. Like, it doesn't have to be realistic. It doesn't have to be historically accurate. You could just make shit up. Like, for example, because I carry them around everywhere, I could bullshit you a scenario using Vasco Castilla and the Kingdom of Cervantes, and have essentially the same shit, without actually needing to, abide by the rules of historical accuracy. I'd want to make it interesting. Like, but, at that point I have a little bit of freedom in order to actually, actually make things fun, as well as realistic and sort of faithful to, actual real warfare. This game just kinda... This game is just lazy in that regard. Also, I should have probably taken 2 or 2,000-pound bombs. Then again, wait a minute, what did I have? Wait, what? I had 4 bombs. Did I? No, I only had 2 bombs. Never fucking mind. I'm doing too much rambling. My ideas, they're racing around my head. But it doesn't even have to be realistic in a way. You can just have Island 1 and Island 2 with Faceless Nameless Air Force 1 and Faceless Nameless Air Force 2. The army, the army of, I don't know, the army of nobody cares and the who gives a fuck waffle. And you can have that. You can just have them beat the shit out of each other all day on hours on end for this kind of things. I'd like to play this kind of game in War Thunder. They can even do alternate history nonsense, but it's like, I'm never gonna get that game here because the game is not going in that fucking direction. And also, yet again, I have expended my bombs. The airfield is over there, so now I have to fly through hell and back in order to actually rearm, and I probably won't rearm before the game ends. Also, the Germans are defending England. Did Operation Sea Lion work? Is that what we're doing here? There are Russians here, though. What's that TU-2 doing over there? Did they capture some B-17s and some Spitfires? That's Privateer. What are you even doing there? You weren't even deployed in this theater. What's going on? All right. Matchmaking. Oh, wow. Well, fuck. Oh, he's a Chinaman. Or rather, Russian Air Force. But, okay, yeah, I just got completely... Yeah, and then you have those situations where you get just instantly knocked out, and then that's it. Game decided to stop playing. I should have started to shoot at him, but I was expecting him to pass over me. But, well, he knocked out my pilot, so oh well. But, honestly, I'd like to play these games that I keep rambling on about. You see, honestly, I like to think that my ideas are good for games. It's just that no one ever fucking makes the games that I want them to make. And I know a lot of people have this problem, and honestly, it's in my own head from my own imagination. It's like, I want my dreams to come true and nobody else's. But you get honestly, I'd like to think that those games would be fun for people other than me. If I made them, I'd try to make them fun for everybody. Like, I would make sure that everything is sensibly laid out and has a fucking role. Like, I would make sure that if I have a multi-class or a multi-role sort of system, I would make sure that each fucking role has a clearly defined point that has detail in it, and then, you know, everything is worthwhile to play. It just depends on what kind of gameplay that you want. But for some reason, nobody's really making these games. It's all a lie, warrior. But, well, okay, moving on. Starting to wear into my throat a little bit. Honestly, maybe it's all the autistic screeching about games that I hate, or rather things that I hate. Because honestly, this is just me being. Honestly, this is me turning into venting, and not much of me playing the game. But oh well. I'm not exactly the best War Thunder player in the world, so I know a lot of places. I know in a lot of cases, most people aren't really watching for my gameplay, though they would watch gameplay from my edited videos because those are the good matches. Those are the fun things. I make those videos because they're, I did something good. I recorded it and said, I posted on YouTube, just going, look at me, look at how fucking amazing I am. But now that you see the Let's Plays and you see me playing the game normally, you get to see that I'm not that big of a deal. But I know how to carry a show when you give me a chance. But unfortunately, right now, I can't do edited content like that. I do not have enough hours in the day and energy in my veins. But, well, let's roll back into the A20, shall we? Where are we? 12,000. We're moving along. Okay. That's a fairly quick game. At least low tiers works. But it's fucking Norway! Why? I don't know. It's because, well, Gajin wants me to stop playing the game, evidently. They want to make it not fun. That's the only reason I can fathom here. Which is kind of funny, really. When you actually think about what they're doing, it's actually logical. They put this map to piss off the ground attack players. So what does it do? It pisses off the ground attack players and makes them not want to play the game. But they wanted to piss off the ground attack players because they wanted to stop them from grinding so efficiently, so that they could, suck more money out of them. So you reap what you sow. I ain't done yet, but it's fucking close if shit doesn't improve. And honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to improve for a very long time. Because Gajin is just going off and doing whatever. They're making strongholds for, War Thunder, because we needed that. And how do I know it's strongholds? It's open to squadrons, and then the squadrons can also bring in free players, legionnaires, in order to fill the gap while they're playing. It's fucking strongholds. That's all it is. And what are you doing? You're just playing the same maps. You're just playing matches, and you have a larger hit point. You have a larger ticket pool of vehicles. And whoever wins the battle is decided by who removes the most things, or who wins is the one left standing with shit at the end. So it's like, okay, yeah, fine, fantastic. But nearly all of that is outside of the game. It's sort of like, oh, we could have a very large war campaign. Whereas both, at the beginning of the campaign, you pick a side. And for yourself or your squadron. And then you have a global map. And then you have missions arranged out there. So you have situations like, for example, standard World War II scenario. You have battles at the front where ground attack pilots and fighter pilots are fighting each other, and tank players and ship players are fighting each other. But then you also have things like industry rating for bombers and commerce rating for the ships, so that you can affect the outcome of the war without actually going directly into the meat grinder. Other things to do, things that would be interesting to have on a, on a 1-to-1, or rather close to 1-to-1 scale map. It's kind of funny because Battleground Europe and Aces High did this already, but for some reason these games never went anywhere. I don't know why. Why? It's probably the same reason why I still don't have World in Conflict 2. The good games never get fucking sequels. Only the games that sell well. And because they sell well doesn't mean that they're innately good. Actually, you know, if they sell well, at the beginning, they can be good. However, as time goes on, most of the games that we know now from reputable franchises like, oh, I don't know, Call of Duty, Battlefield, they're not getting sold because they're good. They're getting sold because everyone knows about them and they reach an acceptable median balance of okay. But they don't excel, and they also kind of don't solve any of their fucking problems, which is why people get pissed off at them. So, in a lot of cases, those games are sort of acceptable, but they don't progress like you would want them to. They don't actually, mainly why, this is why people, sort of like, for example, this is why people get kind of mad at people being overly negative, or they point the finger at 4chan, for example, for like ragging on games unnecessarily. Those kinds of people. Like, take for example, 4chan versus Tumblr. They hate each other. 4chan versus Reddit. They hate each other. Why? Because 4chan, well, 4chan has, most of the time, in a lot of cases, will have actually educated opinions. However, places like Reddit and Tumblr are filled with a bunch of, well, casuals that just kind of accept whatever the hell they throw at them. And not necessarily to defend Reddit and Tumblr, that's not necessarily bad in itself. You can accept acceptable, but people, like those people who rag on just acceptable want something better, and you can do something better. It's just in a lot of cases, they don't. And then so people like that, they search for, you know, better and better games, and maybe unnecessarily shit on games that are just kind of acceptable. So, it's not necessarily that they're right or wrong, it's just that either side really has some really bad negatives if you lean too far into them. So, 4chan, at its worst, at its best, they have informed opinions and they take their games very, very seriously. At its worst, it's a bunch of people that bitch and complain and will never be happy with anything a game does. Reddit and Tumblr, the casual players, at their best, will be very accepting and supportive of a game, even if it's not that great. At its worst, they will throw money at games and give developers basically free purchase to just sit on their ass and do absolutely nothing. Because they've already accepted acceptable, so why work harder for their money? Damn, I'm having some problems with spaghetti planes lately. But you see what I'm saying here, really. Both sides have good selling points, but also both sides have negative selling points. And honestly, they really shouldn't be shit-talking each other, you know, the way that they do. But honestly, it just kind of happens. But whatever. Moving on, we're not that far away from our goal anyway. And also, obviously, as I laid out that example, I'm not saying that Reddit is shit and full of people who are terrible, like, terrible at video games and, you know, wasting, completely waste of space. And I'm not saying that 4chan is the pinnacle of all knowledge either. Sorry, guys. I love you guys. But you know what? That's the thing. I love the guys from 4chan. I will side with the 4chaners on most situations. Why? Because the people from 4chan, they're some of my best friends. I would not be anywhere in my life right now without some people that I've met who, well, mostly go to 4chan. Like Face Melter, for example. I met him, where did I meet him? War Thunder General, and also World of Tanks General. Cybrid! I didn't meet him on 4chan, but he's a 4chaner, and honestly, his sense of humor really helped me out in a really dark time of my life. Oops as well. Reddit and Tumblr? I really haven't gotten anything from those people. And honestly, in a lot of cases, honestly, it may be my own prejudice building up against me, my own experiences, but I'm gonna say them honestly. Honestly, I don't really get anything good from Reddit either. When Reddit comes to play things, honestly, when I look at them, honestly, they are the cancer in a lot of cases. I'm not saying that that's for definite. I'm not damning you, even if I'm not damning anyone in the audience because I've never met you. I don't know who you are. But from my experiences, yeah, Reddit is kind of shit. But whatever, move on. Once again, I'm not insulting you as an individual. This is just what I've experienced. And if you can't accept that people are going to have a negative experience about the things that, you know, about places that you enjoy, well then, you're just mad about absolutely nothing. But whatever. And I know certain other people, you know, have the same opposite experience. They have their friends on Reddit, and then, you know, whenever 4chan rolls around with their memes and you know, their dank memes and their Pepe memes, they ruin everything to those people. I know those people exist. Not everyone on 4chan is a fucking saint. But from my personal experience, I've gotten a lot better out of 4chan than I have with Reddit. So, that's just where I fall. But let's see here. Wait, what am I doing here? This is alternate history Kerminsk. I could actually go bomb things. Or rather, go bomb things in relative safety. Yay. Hopefully I don't explode, like, drop the bombs too low and, you know, blow my plane up trying to bomb the base over there. I have a tendency to get a little low, because they have increased the splash damages for bombs considerably, for planes, but they've also been reducing it over and over again for ground targets. So, it's kind of odd in some cases. But, well, let's get on with the show here and see if we can go bomb some things. But, honestly, sort of to put a bow on what I was saying beforehand, because I rambled off and I leave a lot of tangents unleft to go on other tangents. I know I argue into corners and forget where the fuck I was a lot of the time. Some people do enjoy my spirited rambling, because sometimes I do say good things. However, forming a cohesive argument is not something I'm really good at. Sorry about that. But to put a bow on that, I suppose, in a lot of cases, I've begun to accept acceptable, but in a lot of cases, I am also not the kind of person that just accepts acceptable on face value. In a lot of cases, though, in order to be a more happy person, I do have to accept acceptable, and not necessarily say that acceptable is the devil. Which is a thing I think people mostly I think a lot of people kind of fall into. Because then you just kind of eventually paint yourself into a corner. Which is kind of what I did. And so branching out of it is sort of, well, you know, healthy from my, you know, my ability as a person, my social capability in general, and my ability to maintain my sanity and be happy as a person. But that doesn't mean I can't have critical opinions either. And that doesn't mean that accepting acceptable means that I don't have criticisms. Which, if you've listened to me fucking ramble, you seem to think that the only thing I have is criticisms in a lot of cases. But, well, sometimes I just naturally expect more. And then when I don't get it, I get pissed off and I start to lose hope with certain things. But I can keep hope alive for very long. Look at how long I've been playing War Thunder and World of Tanks. I can keep hope alive very, very strongly. It burns brightly within me. But, well, it's not a pure flame, and eventually it will go out. You just have to just sort of cross my autism in order to get me on that train. Because I want to have hope for video games. I want to think that, you know, I will eventually find the game that is just right for me. The game that I can play over and over again and not really have any sort of wasting sort of problems with it. To be that to be my game. And even better if I could play it over and over again on the channel and you guys enjoy watching me play it. Though, in a sense, how popular the game isn't necessarily amazingly determinate on that. As I've noticed, people just like me when I enjoy myself in video games. People like me when I'm having fun, because I tend to be more upbeat, easier to listen to, and also make more fun jokes. So I understand that as well. So in a lot of cases, it doesn't need to be the most popular a game in the world for people to enjoy watching me play it. A lot of people have said over and over again in the comments they just enjoy watching me no matter what the fuck I'm playing. Which is actually very comforting, and it makes letting go of World of Tanks, for example, a little bit easier. But, well, going off into new games and finding them is still a bit of a harrowing exercise, and I'm still not exactly 100% up to it because of kind of a bit of a paradox. I want to be good and I want to be informed about a game before I go into it, however, I've never fucking played it before, so I can't do that. And when I fuck up, it makes me, you know, feel a little bit worse about myself. I take it out on myself a little bit too much. I beat myself up in a lot of cases. Not necessarily to an extreme extent, because I've, you know, gained greater control as a person. But, you know, it still kind of eggs at me when I'm not playing a game right and people are pointing it at me over and over again. I made note of this before, but it's something I need to actually face in order to actually get better at things. But that kind of fear of that sort of impulse fear is sort of ingrained in me so much it makes approaching new games a little bit difficult. And so that's why my Let's Plays have sort of died off a little bit in terms of what I'm playing on the channel. I kind of have to get over that fear. And in addition to that, it's not just that. In addition to that, it's also all of the shit that I'm doing. All the shit that I'm doing aside from maintaining the channel, it takes a lot of energy out of me. The move in general, honestly, right now the move still isn't over. I will make an update video and explain what the hell how this shit has gone when it's actually done and over. But right now we're still in a very, very slow transition phase. Like, for example, my computer is set up, my bed is set up. I still haven't put together my dresser or my nightstand or anything like that. There are still boxes all over the fucking house. It's still, we still look like the first week that we moved in, mainly because me and Gom are so fucking busy that we don't have the time and the energy to keep, like, to just, like, hammer this shit out immediately. And also, we've had to deal with a lot of problems with acoustic quality in this house. So that's been slowing things down, especially for Gom, because he wants to actually make a room sound acceptable before he begins actually continuing doing work, though he's still recording underneath it. But I understand, and also this, depending on what happens, depends on where some of the furniture goes, and you know, you understand why things are just sort of sitting derelict. And... yep. Oh wait, I have more bombs now. Wait, no I don't. Is it just me, or did I see 2 extra bombs come off my wings? Am I hallucinating? Wait, where's this plane? Oh! It's a Wyvern. Hi, Wyvern! That fucking magical hairdryer. Wow, I fucked that up. This is what happens when I don't aim. Twist the gun around. I should have hit Z. Oh, there we got it. You see? But you see there, Wyvern got one, and I got one. We're sharing the points here. Ground attack pilots, ladies and gentlemen. That wonderful, whining hairdryer. I'm not sure why he doesn't have actually, he does look like he has rockets under his wings. Or something. But now we go back in and remove things. And also, fun thing about the Wyvern itself, it actually has a comical amount of ammunition for what it is. Like, it's actually kind of nice. The Widow, honestly, feels kind of lacking in terms of ammunition. That thing has like 2,000 rounds. I have like, what, 800? Whack! Well, it wasn't the bombs. But now I bought some real estate in Russia. See, I'm sitting there just thinking about shit, and he does have rockets. Oh well, never mind. Nice bulldog. Well, I made it another embarrassing death. Oh well, what a shame. Moving on.